Hey guys, welcome back to Spooky Tuesday, a weekly podcast where we're breaking down all of our favorite slashers, thrillers, monster movies, and black comedies on the new scariest day of the week. I'm Sydney Thompson.
I'm Monica Haidt.
And I'm Chelsea Duff.
And this week, we're diving back in to one of my favorite franchises. And also, we just did another movie from the same director, and it feels...
and we loved it!
and it feels almost very similar to this movie. Who would have thought?
Crazy.
And that movie would be Evil Dead Rise. And the IMDb logline for that is a twisted tale of two estranged sisters whose reunion is cut short by, oh God, the rise of flesh-possessed demons thrusting them into a primal battle for survival as they face the most nightmarish version of family imaginable. That's what I'm saying. I had to click that read more, which is why
and that's when you went, oh!
The rise of flesh-possessing demons. This feels like a run-on sentence. Like, I don't know if this is grammatically correct. A twisted tale of two estranged sisters. This is literally a tongue twister. A twisted tale of two estranged sisters. Flesh-possessing demons. Thrusting. Primal battle. There's really a lot.
The most
nightmarish version of family imaginable.
How would I know how suddenly they entered upon this story if they weren't thrust into it?
Thank God they said it. Thank God they said it because we were all thinking it. That's so crazy. And we're doing this movie because it continues to be Trans Pride, people.
Yay!
It's Trans Pride here at Spooky Tuesday. And
it's Trans Pride all year long, baby.
Woohoo! And as we said at the end of last episode, no, it's not because Lee Cronin is trans, but we're here whenever you want. But we have a trans character in this movie, and I'm trying to fucking find the name of Danny's actor. Morgan Davies is the name of the actor, and he is a trans person. And yeah, that's like the joy of this movie is that there's a trans person in the movie, and that's it. And nobody says anything really about it. And but I think that's radical too. Like we've done.
Is the character supposed to be trans, or is the actor?
That's a philosophical question.
It's
trans,
a philosophical question.
Like, know what I mean? And so it doesn't matter because again, it literally doesn't matter.
Totally, but I think that this character being a trans DJ who's a fucking idiot is really important to
Yeah, no, I was looking to see how trans people received this movie, if they felt that there was like trans stuff here. I found one Substack from somebody who called himself like the transgender Evil Dead guy. And so he sees trans themes in these movies in general. And apparently some of the trans community claims Ash Williams as a trans character. But he was asking those questions. Is this character trans? Is the actor just trans? Can you assume one thing or another? And was talking about that. And then I also found an article from Pink News that is titled, "Everyone is fangirling over Evil Dead Rise giving, quote, trans moron representation."
Yes,
colon,
that's the article
quote,
I read.
I'm obsessed. Yeah.
So good. It's so
It's
important.
gender affirming that to be a teenage boy makes you stupid.
Yeah, and like
all teenage boys are stupid.
All teenage boys are stupid. It's an authentic experience. But also like, I don't know, another thing, well, and this is much up for much debate, I think. But like, I read something that was like, okay, well, is Danny supposed to be trans in the movie because the character who plays him is trans? Like, and they're like, well, when you see a cis person in a movie playing like just like Joe Schmo, they're like, you think that they're playing a cis character. So like, would you follow those same rules? But then also we didn't talk about this a lot too, but there's Hunter Schafer, for example. She's trans and she like, her big thing is that she like doesn't want to take on trans roles and she wants to play cis characters right now. That's like where she is at in her career right now. So I don't know. It's a gray area. So I believe in my heart that Danny is trans though. And that's what I think. I don't know. I didn't expect there to be such a big debate about that online, but it makes sense. It makes sense. But
Yeah.
I was like, this is a trans DJ boy. That's what this is happening right now. That is what we're experiencing. And I
No,
think
I
what's
think
happening, the moron that of him comes from him being a DJ and not from him being trans, just to be very clear.
Yes, that's actually correct.
Any young DJ is prone to stupidity, unfortunately. It's just something that happens.
there's just a freewheeling artistic quality to this family shared by many of its characters that lends itself, I think, to exploring things that some people wouldn't. Like, you have the youngest daughter who is cutting heads off dolls, and that is
Uh-huh.
part of her artistic expression, and then you have a teenage boy who's climbing through holes in the floors to be like, what's down here? And I think that those are in many ways two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, totally.
Listen,
Tattoo
I
artist,
spiritually
mom,
relate to
gay
Stephanie
daughter.
so hard.
Oh my god. She's powerful. Wait.
No, I like Stephanie. And a great name, Stephanie. It was very strange though to come into this movie and be like, the only actor in this film that I'm already familiar with is New Holly from Stranger Things.
Oh my god, yeah. Well, I like that about Lee Cronin though. Like he likes to work with like all those actors are mostly like British or I don't
They're
know if
all
they're Irish.
Australian.
They're
Yeah.
Australian?
And I could
Damn
tell that
it.
watching the
I
movie. I was like,
can't
how many of
tell.
these people are Australian?
I really
At
can't
least
tell that
three.
accent apart. I really have a hard time with that accent. I don't know. I like going into a movie and not recognizing anyone necessarily, except being like, look, this is a brand new hot person for me to know about, you know? There were so many brand new hot people to think about in this. It's great.
That
Those
mom has crazy
sisters,
face.
those sisters are gorgeous. Yeah, well, she's a fucking model. Alyssa Sutherfield. I just literally can't read. It was in front of my face. I read it wrong. Um, she's a model for years. Apparently, I was watching a little interview. She was like, "the I didn't like it that much, and I'm happy to be doing acting now." So go off, Queen. You're killing it. And Lily Sullivan, I guess, is who plays is Beth the other sister. Everybody's
Yeah.
IMDb pictures
Yeah.
look so different than what they actually like look like in this movie. It's crazy. It's like I feel like I have face blindness right now. She's stunning, and I'm obsessed with the sound of her voice. That like raspy thing she had going on. Very hot. 10 out of 10. Oh my god, wait, I didn't do the spiel about our fundraiser. Okay, stop. We're stopping. We're talking about the fundraiser really quickly. Did you remember it's Trans Pride? All proceeds from Spooky Tuesday this month go to trans nonprofit organizations, and we are asking you to join us in a fundraiser we're doing on Instagram for Transgender Law Center. If you go to our Instagram page, instagram.com/spooky_Tuesday, there's a fundraiser right there. It's like right under our bio. I think we've raised almost 600 something dollars at this point. Hopefully it's more by the time this episode comes out. And I would really like to raise our goal to 1,000 for this month, and I think it's
Whoa.
possible. Through Spooky Tuesday, all is possible. Okay, so through Trans
Spooky
Pride, we
Tuesday's
can get
timing
there.
always right.
It's gonna be real beautiful. So, we would love for you to donate. I know times can be tough and that might not be feasible, but guess what? Like we said, all proceeds go to different trans organizations this month. So that means if you're listening to this, any place that gives you an annoying advertisement, haha, sorry, that's a good thing. The ad revenue is going straight to these trans nonprofit organizations. So listen again. What'd you say last episode, Sydney?
Something twice.
Be nice, listen twice.
Yeah,
Be
be
nice,
nice,
listen
listen
twice.
twice.
Yeah, do that. Do that. If you're watching on YouTube, that doesn't help. So sorry, but you should. You can't monetize with them yet. I'm just being honest. But if you become a patron, you'll also be directly supporting these trans organizations. Or if you buy any of our content on Patreon, it's like $3 a pop. You can buy one-off thing, and that money will also go straight to these trans organizations. And we've gotten 2 new amazing patrons this month, so we really appreciate them. for joining us. It's very exciting, and we love you already, so that's great. So join in on the fun. And now we can go back to talking about Evil Dead Rise. But if I don't do my spiel, something bad will
They
happen.
wouldn't know.
They wouldn't know. I have to do my spiel, and I also like doing the spiel, and I love fundraising. So let's fucking do it, y'all. We can do it. But anyway, okay. At the end of the last episode, I made a little stinker face, and you're like, "Oh, Monica, you're the only one who's seen this. Oh, do you like it?" And I was like, "It's not for me." And I want to say that I disagree with her. Whoever said that, it was me. I disagree with her because I I had a really good time today. I don't know. I think I just had like a bad taste in my mouth after the Mummy because, like, whoa, you guys saw the Mummy. And I
Yeah.
also didn't really like the Hole in the Ground that much, and I saw it twice, as I explained in that episode. Oh my god, it's really hard. But I like, okay, I feel like Lee Cronin definitely is doing his like gotcha horror stuff that's like, let's be as gross as we possibly can. But it's not, doesn't feel like this movie is disgusting for sure, 100%. But it feels more like tasteful in this movie
I
than it did
agree.
in The Mummy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. There was, I don't remember what it was. I watched this movie one time, thought I'll watch it another time and take some notes. I didn't particularly feel compelled to. It's fine. There's interesting stuff here. And there's stuff I liked that they didn't put in that is usually in an Evil Dead movie. But I was thinking about the Mummy a
You
lot. And
liked
there's
that they
one,
didn't put it in? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, yes, and I'll circle
Oh,
back to that in a
okay. I know.
second.
I literally I know
No, you
exactly
can
what.
probably guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I already got. I figured it out. Keep going.
But there was a line in this movie that she was saying something to the youngest daughter, Cassie. The mom was saying something to Cassie about like, I want to give me your head or something like that. I want to take your head. And I was like, if this
Gonna
were
chop
Lee
off your head.
Cronin's Evil Dead Rise, and not just Evil Dead Rise, written directed by Lee Cronin, then it would be something about, there'd be some sort of giving head joke in there, just to be like,
skull.
isn't that weird? Don't you think
Yeah.
that's upsetting? And so I was like,
Insert Irish
he
accent.
held back, thank God, this time around.
Yeah, I think
Probably
that
because
like
there
this,
were like kids, but there was kids in the
There were
Mummy
kids
too.
in-
yeah, there's
So-
kids in the Mummy too.
The underage siblings in the Mummy were like, don't you want to come undress me?
Girl,
Well,
you know what happened? I'm gonna let you know right now.
one was
This movie
possessed,
came
okay?
first. This movie came first, and then he was
And then he
emboldened.
went, how can I top
He was
that?
emboldened by
I'll
his
get weird
success.
about it.
He was emboldened by the great success of this film. I burped into the microphone. I'm really sorry about that. He was emboldened by it because this did really well, didn't it? This like really revived the franchise. Not that it was dead. Like the 2013 one fucking rocks, the Fede Alvarez one, but that came out so long ago. It's like 10 years in between, right? This is 2023 movie.
Well, they talk about how like they want to do like a movie every like 10 years. And then and I guess this one came out, that one came out in 2023, so it's only going to be 3 years. But there was
well, then they're like, this can make money, so fuck that idea.
Wait, these could be really successful.
In between Here and Now, there was 3 seasons of like the TV show too. Like what was that? Like Ash vs. Evil or something like that?
In between the 2013 one and this 2023 one.
Yeah, I heard that was really fun. I heard it was
supposed to be really good too.
There's a transgender character in that show, very inconsequential to the overall plot, I saw. But a canonically transgender character played by a transgender performer, directed, as it turns out, I think the director came out later, but directed by a trans director that episode. So it's not the best portrayal necessarily. The transgender Evil Dead guy says, whose name, by the way, that person, I'll give them full credit. That was in a Substack that I read from Logan Ashley Kistner. So they break that down a little bit. That character's name is Joni. So there is movement, involvement in the franchise.
That's cool.
different degrees of success. But
Well, okay. I mean, let's dive in. I'm sorry I'm eating chips. I'm just really hungry. There's blood red salsa if that helps.
I think if you spilled a little coming down your mouth, then that would
No,
really help.
I'm Ellie before. I'm beautiful
She would
Ellie.
never be messy. She would
I'm
never
freshly
spill
dyed
salsa.
hair Ellie. I thought the beginning of this movie was awesome. I really, I thought it was a fun way, like just like to bookend the movie, like start and finish by having the beginning actually be the ending, and then I had literally 100% completely forgot about that, and also was looking away when it said one day earlier. So I was like, what the fuck was that about? Whatever, it was Slay, so it's fine. But I feel like they made this specifically for Sydney because Sydney, don't you love Wuthering Heights?
I do.
Well,
Yeah,
there you go.
I loved that.
I loved that. I loved one because this movie does like most of the Evil Deads take place like in a cabin in the woods, and this one
Yeah.
explicitly takes place in an apartment in Los Angeles. And so I like that we
Yeah.
still get a cabin in the woods moment, and the Wuthering Heights aspect is like a direct callback to the first one where she like one of the girls that's possessed by the Deadites is like predicting which card she is like one of the other girls have, and so
Cheryl.
right, so it's like a play on
I
that
love that
she's
part in the
reading
first
the
one.
exact words from the book.
There
And
was
also
also
those
something on IMDb
words.
trivia. You go ahead.
Oh, I just thought that the excerpt that she was reciting itself was so good and very like Deadite coded because it's the part I haven't read it, but I haven't read Wuthering Heights, but it's the part where like the ghost I think is like knocking on the window being like let me in, and that like feels like, you know, this whatever evil malevolent spirit like knocking on the door being like let me in to your family, let me into whatever, like waiting to be summoned, waiting like for that one inciting moment that can let them go crazy. So I thought that was an effective passage. I was spooked. And I also love that it started out with a drone because it makes you hate that guy so easily. Caleb, the fact that he has a drone, he has fucking drone VR goggles. Boy.
Well, and I really like the drone part because like the shot that you use feels like in the original movies where it's like running through the woods, but it's like the Deadite, and then it's like, JK, it's a drone this time. And you're
Yeah.
like, a
That
drone.
was funny.
Yeah,
That
I'm
was
not
funny.
Deadite.
That was a funny gag. It was very funny.
I'm not invested enough in the franchise to know all of the like hallmarks of it necessarily, but I did see there's not a post credits scene for this movie, but there's like an audio stinger at the very end that's like the sound of a fly buzzing. And apparently that is in almost all of the Evil Dead movies. And so it's like the sound of a fly buzzing and the hum of a drone being so similar also. And like them doing that tracking shot through the woods and then being like, oh, you thought that was some spooky force? Gotcha. It is, but in a different technologically modern way. I thought they were playing with a lot of things there that I thought was really fun.
Yeah.
I
It was so
loved in
fun.
the opening where she just like falls off the bed. That's just like so kooky Deadite like bullshit that they like to do, because like this movie does take the tone, like a similar tone of like the first one isn't like, it's not meant, like I don't think it's supposed to be funny. It just ends up being a little funny because it's dated, know what I mean? And like all the stuff. But like the second and third one are very much like hysterical like gags a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the remake is not like, it's very serious.
Deadly
It's
serious.
like, and so I feel
Oh
like
my
this
God.
one takes in the vein of like the first and the remake, where it's like, okay, we're gonna be serious, but that to me was a little like hee hee ha ha moment because I
think
laughed out loud when she just went whoop off the bed.
I think it split the diff really well. I think it split the difference. And brought a little bit of levity in there. Not a lot, not a lot. But just a tad. and still had that like grimy, gritty horror tone that is like the new like vibe, like the modern vibe for this franchise, because like Fede really set the tone in 2013 for this like balls to the wall kind of gore and blood. And yeah, I mean it was like that before, but again, like the limitations of this being such like an indie film in its heyday, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've only seen the 1981 Evil Dead of the original trilogy. I haven't seen the second one or Army of Darkness. And I feel like those might be more my vibe potentially if I
I think you would really
invest.
like the second one. The second one goes balls to the wall. I'm a
You
It's
guys have
diehard first one
said,
crazy.
purist, but I
yeah.
enjoy the second one for what it is.
You said, I think before, that the second one is kind of like they're sort of almost redoing the first one with
Yes.
bigger budget and now they're having fun.
Yes, and it's like it's way more zany and way more kooky, but it's literally like a remake of the first one.
It's so weird that it's like the weirdest thing ever.
It's
just
truly
so
like
weird
I
that
just
it is a remake of itself, the sequel. It's so funny.
like and what is that? What do they call that one? Like Darkness? Like
Army
it
of
has
Darkness.
no, that's
That's
the
the
third
third
one.
one.
Oh, sorry. I don't
Why
know.
can't I
It's
think of
like
it?
Dawn of the Dead
Dead
or
by
something
Dawn.
like that.
Dead by Dawn.
Dead by
Oh yeah,
Dawn.
because they
In
say
this
that
Dead
in
by
movie,
Dawn.
Dead by Dawn, Dead by
Mm-hmm.
Dawn. And so that was like a fun little throwback to the second
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, reading the IMDb trivia, I got and doing some Googling and such. I got some good information about the franchise at large and how it's not like a perfectly they're all 100% for sure on purpose in the same canon, but how there's like a lot of space left for that generally. In the 2013 one, apparently, I don't remember if we talked about this, but somebody else must have brought it up. There is a post-credit scene in that one with like Bruce Campbell in silhouette saying groovy, which I guess is sort of Ash's like tagline, if you will. And so there were conversations about sort of marrying those two canons at some point, or doing some sort of crossover. Bruce Campbell apparently has said a lot like Ash Mia team up involvement of some kind he'd be so down for. Um, and then this movie is kind of acknowledging something from one of the previous films that set up, I think, an Army of Darkness. Maybe it's like in the graveyard there are 3 different books of the dead, and so this one
Yeah.
is there's like 3 books of the dead. It introduces
Army of
that like we
Darkness
can find a
is
new one
Army of
somewhere
Darkness
else.
is you can't even describe Army
The
of
genre
Darkness.
is completely different. It's like a fantasy film.
Yeah, it is
They're like Ash
cuckoo
time travels now.
bananas.
Is my understanding?
Yeah, no, yeah, there's time travel. He goes to like medieval times. Duh, Chelsea.
Yeah,
come on.
basically.
Where else was he gonna go?
He's got a
That's a
chainsaw
really
for
great
a hand.
question. Yeah. That's a great point. But yeah, it seemed like they were pulling little things from the canon that kind of set up where you can link them more if you want to invest in that, especially if you have Ash who time travels and can go to wherever there's been some sort of Book of the Dead incident, as I understand it.
Well,
Then he can do whatever. But
well, and if Ash can time travel, it could explain why his voice is heard on the recordings that Danny
Yeah.
listens. So, like, who's to
Unearths.
say?
Yeah, he's one of the naysayers that's like, they call it the Book of the Dead for the reason. I think that's him. Or
Yeah, that's
there's
him.
like 2 okay, that's what I thought. That's so funny. Yeah.
Yeah, he says destroy it before that, and then
I
blah
think
blah
this
blah.
was a really interesting not genre, sorry, franchise just in general, because it is pivoted so interestingly from its original, and I think it's like really honestly smart how they've done it, because how can you ever like, it's not like Scream where you can like keep bringing back Nev Campbell as I almost said Neve Candle,
Neve
as
Candle.
much as
That's
he
her
That's her
want, you
name.
name.
That's her
know.
name.
And she's like down and she's young and still and stuff like that. I mean, like Bruce Campbell, I mean, I'm sure he'd come back, but like it would change the vibe completely. And like there's no one like you want to recast Bruce Campbell or not recast, but like get like a young version of him, like it's gonna it's like shooting yourself in the foot. Like it's either you're gonna somehow find the perfect person, but then it's still a bastardization, and then you're just doing the same thing again. So I like that they like were like the storyline here, like those movies were like really about Bruce, but there is like a bedrock of lore that was set up that's very interesting. And what if we take that lore and we switch up the tone and we do something different with it? And so I think it's like a very I don't know how many other franchises have pivoted like this so successfully, but it's cool to see. And I can't believe I'm such a fan of this movie now when I thought I hated it yesterday. But like I think also like and I think this is probably true about the 2013 one as well, though I can't remember it quite as well because it has been a few years since I've seen it. I was like, they really did a great job casting this movie. Like the acting was so strong in this, and I do think the script was pretty strong too. Where like they made me care about this family so quickly, and I think it's paced pretty well too. Like I think the performances were really really strong, like where if they were as anybody else in these roles, like maybe it wouldn't hit quite the same, but like it was an agonizing watch for sure. Yes, that's because someone is getting their leg fucking cheese grated, but it's
Blech.
also because, and we can talk about that more, but also it's agonizing because it's like this family that just like was like a beautiful family. They love each other so much, even though they have their quirks. But they like were just fucking smashed with this like horrible like loss. Not like he died, but he's dead to me. The husband leaving the whole family behind, abandoning his children, leaving Ellie in the lurch. The sisters, they're at odds because they're not really like fixtures in each other's lives. Like
Well, they're gonna
I,
they're gonna have to move from their apartment within a
yes,
month.
Mm-hmm.
yes, they're
Like,
being evicted because their place is getting torn down. It's just like they already are having such a fucking rough go, but all the characters have these little moments where you get to like them and care about them and understand them. Like I think they do a really good job of like in not that much time, like giving you a good idea of who each of these people are. And so I think it makes it all the more effective when you see them get all ripped apart for the rest of the film. Like, I
Yeah,
don't know. I was
I
invested.
was. Danny felt like such a main character. And I think within the rules of the franchise, to some degree, Danny wasn't going to be allowed to make it because he's the one who reads and
Yeah,
the
he
book and
did
plays
the
the
dumb
tape and blah blah blah.
thing.
So karmically he must be punished. But I really was like rooting for him to make it to the end. And so I was very sad when that didn't happen. But I did
Yeah.
realize if you look at the poster, I mean, there is a moment in the movie after the earthquake when the mom is like hugging all three of her children, and she is just like hands on the two older ones, and the little one is in the middle, kind of getting just like squished into the hug. And so it's the similar kind of hug in the poster, but it's also a little spoilery in a way because it's like those are the two that she claims as a deadite as well, that she the demon pulls into hell
Hmm.
with her. So I thought that was a fun detail.
Yeah. And I also think this one is just so effective because it's like the same thing with this is so random that I'm saying this. I'm sorry. It's the same thing with like Heretic where like no one would expect Hugh Grant to be a bad guy because he's always such a nice guy all the time. It's like having the villain be the mommy and like the caretaker and like flipping that on its head and having her being like the bringer of like strife. And obviously I know that not everyone has a perfect relationship with their mommies and mommies can do bad things. But she was such a great mother figure and like obviously like doing so much and like giving everything for her kids, and so then to watch her against her will be forced into this role where she's torturing them instead. And when you have those like brief moments that she has of clarity where like right at the beginning of her possession where she's like, don't let them take my babies. Like it's just so scary. It makes me think of obsession, which I'm always thinking about, and lately it's just like, is Ellie still alive? Like in like as Deadite form, or does she like die at some point when she like vomits and stuff and chokes maybe, and then she's just fully. Because I think you're like kind of a zombie as a Deadite, right? Like, sorry, this has gotten convoluted, but
Well, no, I think it is kind of a larger question that I'm certainly not the expert on the franchise, but I don't know that we have a firm answer to that because I was like, what happened in the 2013 one again? I was reviewing the tapes, and in that one, Mia is like the original Deadite of the film, and then she gets, quote, purified, I think.
they're not
They had to
necessarily dead.
either. Yeah, she becomes like the taker of souls in that movie. So it's like a
Yeah.
specific character kind of thing in that one.
Mhm.
And then the taker of souls inhabits Eric's corpse. Wikipedia. I didn't fully rewatch the movie. I just watched part and then I read the
LOL,
Wikipedia plot
fucking
summary. Yeah,
Eric,
Eric.
dumbass of all
Um
time. I'll be right back. I'm still listening.
the Taker of Souls, it said, embodies Eric's corpse after it's forced out of Mia. So that's at that point, it is taking somebody who's like explicitly already dead. Um, but Mia is able to return to herself once buried alive and then defibrillated. So
Yeah.
there is an
Oh, I forgot about
argument
that.
that you can come back from being a deadite, but also hers was a specific possession, so I wonder if that's different than your average deadite.
I was a
um
little upset that like none of these could come back. Like none of these in this movie like came back.
Yeah.
yeah, the
Well, it
rules
really
I wanted
turned
don't
Danny
into a
back.
fucking
necessarily.
army. Really turned
Hmm.
into an army of Deadites really quickly there. So
Yeah,
that was pretty difficult to come back from. But yeah, technically, what I'm reading now, it is a demonic possession. What that's happening, or soul consuming spirits is what it says here. Um, and so they can possess the living or the dead.
I think the rules are just not necessarily super consistent also because in the 2013 one, um Daniel, the brother, like blows up the cabin, and that's what takes out the taker of souls who's in Eric's body, and it takes him out, and that makes him like the fifth victim claimed by the taker of souls, which is what rises the abomination, which is like the big baddie at the end of that movie. So they explode, they're done. I guess you could argue the explosion destroys their bodies. But then in this one, on the tape that Danny listens to, it's like I tried to burn them and it didn't work, even though in the 2013 Wikipedia page, at least, it said they had to purify her, Mia, to get the Taker of Souls out. And the options were buried alive, fully dismembered, or burnt. And so it's like, I think, I don't, it seems a little
Yeah,
wiggly woggly for the needs of each movie. And because so many of them have a different person at the helm, I don't necessarily know that Sam Raimi is like handing everybody a rule book that they have to
yeah.
stick to.
They don't have their own Necronomicon to go through. It's not all the way written down because this book is also very different than the book in the 2013 one.
Yeah.
This is a picture book,
Yeah.
and I
This
like
one has
that. That's nice.
drawings.
Yeah,
The
I
art's
mean,
really the art was gorgeous. It was really fucked up, but it was beautiful. I really liked it.
spoilers for our segment later, but I will say, even though we gave our, everybody loved the moron representation, and it is important that everybody's allowed to be stupid sometimes and make mistakes. That's so true. You don't have to be perfect just because of you're underrepresented in film.
Yeah.
But Danny plays the tapes without knowing what they are, and they put the warning on the last vinyl, which is
Yeah.
like,
Which
well, maybe
seems dumb.
we
Why would you do
should
that?
label that one differently. But Eric in the 2013 one, it's like he opens the book and it says, "Don't read, don't see, don't say, don't speak," blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Like it
that's
has
why he's
explicit
the dumb
warnings.
bitch of all
And he has
time.
to do like a rubbing to be like, "What are the words?" And then immediately, like, he is going so far out of his way after being explicitly warned. And it's like, Danny is exploring something that should not be explored. But there are no, other than the book being spooky and giving a weird vibe and sucking up the drops of his blood that splatter onto it.
Which should
So
have been
yeah.
like,
So like there were some
Well, I
alarm
don't-
bells, but it didn't specifically say I'm evil. You know what I mean?
I don't think he
I don't
saw
know
that
if a book is
happen.
like
Also,
bringing up
Yeah.
blood, maybe.
I don't
He
think
was
they
busy
saw.
with his hand, and then they looked
I
down,
don't
and the
think
book was
either of them
opening
saw
up.
the book literally drink his blood, go and like slurp that shit up. I mean, okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about the moron representation
Retrieval of
here,
the book.
though. Like one that fucking the earthquake really freaked me out just because I'm from California. We're from
Los
we're
Angeles movie,
Cali.
baby.
Yeah, love that, and that's so scary. And yeah, let us be talking about a California earthquake that opens up a spooky vault to hell. I love that as a concept. That rocked to me.
And it
That
could
rocked
happen
me.
to y'all.
It could
So
happen.
be warned.
It could happen, but
I'm
also
not climbing in any holes in a structurally unsound underground parking lot post earthquake. I'll put that on the record now.
Monica
You're not going
would.
to see that happen to me.
No, okay. Here, listen. I've had a lot of thoughts about this. Okay, and at my first thought, I was looking at this. I was like, "You dumb fucking cunt," and then I was like, "Monica." Okay, I would not go into a hole when there's literal structural damage because I am a Cali girl and I understand. I'm sorry, I said a Cali girl. I have to kill myself. That's the worst thing I've ever said.
Who
I
are
just,
you?
I just,
She's
we,
just a Cali girl.
I'm not. I'm a California girl. I'm a Valley girl at the end of the day. I'm sorry that I said that and I want to throw myself in the street, to be clear. As a California girl, I understand structural damage that results from a seismic event, okay? So I would not go in that particular hole, but I was really thinking about it and there is a time in my life where me and several of my friends who I will not name, so hopefully they don't listen to this episode and don't get mad at me. But friends that Chelsea knows that you both know, we actually hung out with them very recently. Um, we went to the desert and we came across like an area of trees that had a bunch of like stuff, like crazy, weird, cool looking stuff that was just like left out there. It was not a hole, so I'm not that stupid. I wouldn't go in a hole. I'm not into holes like that. Not that type of hole. It's not something I'm interested in. But we went through all the stuff that was out there because I love free shit. Man, I love free shit. Oh, do I love free shit? And what did they have? Spooky records. And what did I take? Spooky records. What did we also take? A tape. A tape of maybe Village People. And then immediately after taking these items, we were cursed. I'm not even kidding. A series of unfortunate events happened. Somebody fell down in the shower, broke through a glass wall, had to go to the emergency room. Then on the way back from the emergency room, we were hit by a car. And so we had to like do a ritual and return the items like to the desert and say, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. But I kept some of the stuff still and I didn't tell anyone.
That's why you have a haunted doll in your basement.
That's why, well, they're
Yeah.
gone. That was the scariest thing about that. The dolls disappeared. The dolls disappeared.
As far as you know,
Yeah.
My
They
most
could be in the
re-
walls.
they could be anywhere.
they could be anywhere.
Like
My
the
most
boy.
recent thing that I
Event.
found on the street that's haunted that I brought home is this. Tell me that's not haunted. For the people who are not watching, it's a cursed lantern from thousands of years ago. That's not true, but it's a really old lantern covered in dirt and cobwebs that I saw on the street. And I was like, well, I got to take that home. Probably
Yoink.
gonna die. So I think that there's a lot of similarities to me and Danny in a lot of ways, but I will say that he takes it too far. Jesus falls on you, you got to get out of there. That's the time. Jesus just told you, get the fuck out. Even if you don't believe in him, leave. And then also, you go down into a crypt. That was a crypt at the end. That was like a fucking, that was a casket that was broken, like a, not wooden, like a cement casket. and he pulls a book out of there, and there's little things moving. No,
Yeah.
you open it. There's 1,000 bugs. Leave that shit. You're gonna bring vermin into your mother's house.
That's my thing. They say in the beginning, they call it a vault. I don't know if they said bank vault or if I assumed bank vault. So I can see why with
so it is a bank vault.
Yeah, the motive that he says later, they don't reveal it what he was thinking at this time. They're just like teenage boy exploring holes. But the motive that they reveal later,
holes.
Name of the
I'm saying,
episode.
girl. I'm saying, girl. The motive they reveal later is that he's like, that's what I think is happening with our Hellraiser video.
I think so too.
Because it says
Be
full frontal.
with me. We've got hundreds of views on that YouTube video. We're back. We're so back.
We're
We've
back,
got a lot of
baby.
new subscribers too. Okay,
people looking for something else. They found this and they went,
and they're
okay,
like,
well, I'll give it a shot.
Actually, I kind of like that.
The motive that he reveals later is he's like, well, maybe it's valuable and we can sell it. Don't you think Mom could use extra money right now? And so the idea that he's crawling into an old bank vault trying to unearth valuables, I think is A, a little redeeming, and B, makes some degree of logical sense for these actions. But again, I agree. That's exactly what I was trying to say. When you pull out a sack of something from a cupboard or hidden cupboard and it is moving already, why would you open that? That's like the worst thing I can possibly think to do in that situation. Look for another valuable somewhere else in the room.
Yeah. And look, okay, I think that that's probably part of what he was trying to do, 100%. But you can't tell me that when he went down there and saw a stack of records, he wasn't like, I'm going to find the nichest track to remix for my next DJ set, okay? You thought it was cool when I was playing LCD Sound System earlier? What if I hit him with this fucking ancient priest? What if I dropped that shit? And as I was listening to it, and I was like, okay, there actually are a couple of lines here that would absolutely slap if then they would be, it was like the beat dropped like right after like a fucking dubstep one. I didn't fucking write it down and I thought I would find it in the quotes. I'm so mad, but it's just like the words that are said like right before he starts summoning the demon. Okay. The demon, that would be so fucking perfect. And then also like right after Bruce Campbell is like, it's called the Book of the Dead for the reason. Wah, bah, 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 bah. Imagine that. Can you hear that now? I can hear it. It's really too bad that he died because he really might have had something there. Or he could have cursed the whole world if he released that track. A lot of options. Imagine he was a dubstep DJ. That's honestly mean of me. He's not. He doesn't do dubstep. I want to be so clear. I don't think he does dubstep, but I don't know enough about DJing to do any other sort of like mouth sound of a beat drop. So that's what you're getting.
Yeah, it's like he pulls a line. I looked up the script. He pulls up a line and it's like the Naturom Demonto, the Book of the Dead. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. And I need you.
Oh my God.
And I miss you.
He's taking a different direction.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
So
And
baby,
now I
pull me
wonder.
No,
He
I
doesn't
hate that song.
remix.
That is literally the worst song ever, in my opinion. I'm so sorry.
Here's the
That's
thing.
not-
I
it's up there.
love that song because
Well, we always
whenever
fight about
I'm
this.
like having like I'm on the verge of like a mental breakdown, I play that song and I'm like, okay, we're going for it. And you just listen to it over and over and over again. Surprisingly, makes you feel better.
It does the opposite
know
for
what?
me, but I'm glad that you have that, and I wouldn't take that away from you. But just when you do it next, I don't want to be there.
What was that Sam Smith song that came out in the last few years that was like
Unholy,
yeah.
doing something unholy. Yeah,
Holy.
that would
If
be
it's
fucking
like this
crazy.
is heresy, and then it was like some part of unholy, and they're like throwing that over there. You could do fun remixes for sure.
Ooh, daddy, daddy. Yeah, it would be really good. That would
Boogie
be
Tuesday attempts to DJ for this episode.
Yeah, no, I
attempts
have
to
friends who are DJs.
manifest DJ sets that somebody else can make because we don't have the skill set. But
I'll talk to
if
Jess.
anybody's listening, yeah, girl
R.I.P.
pit, get girl pit
Danny.
involved.
R.I.P. Danny. I would have loved
R.I.P.
this
Danny,
spooky
you would have
track.
loved Girl Pit.
You would have loved. Oh my God, Danny would have loved Girl Pit. You guys should check out my friends, DJ Collective, Girl Pit. It's a safe space for women and queer folks at any concert ever. Mostly we're in California, but they have really sick merch. And there you go, at Girl Pit. I don't know if that's actually their handle. Oh, I'm gonna look it up.
And Girl Pit is supporting our transgender Lost Summer fundraiser, so
Yeah.
that's nice.
Girl__pit on Instagram. Check it out. Anyway, yeah, so that was a really come to Jesus moment for me to be like, I cannot judge this beautiful man because I am the same. Though I would not
Look,
go into a
things
structurally
happen.
unsafe zone. That was really honestly. Those are my two big thoughts of this whole movie. And then also cheese grater. Something made me almost throw up. I can't
No, I
remember
thought the
what
gore was
part.
like there were some really good I am covering my eyes. I'm looking away from the screen gore moments. The cheese grater especially was particularly memorable.
No,
But...
when she bit out that nice hot man's eye and spit it into the other kid's mouth.
Oh, I did love when
too
she spit
gagged.
the eye into the mouth.
I loved that.
God. That was the most like, and what's the worst thing we could do part of the whole movie.
Yeah.
For sure. But still, it was okay. It wasn't sexual in nature. But
Yes.
I felt bad for that kid. He didn't get a cool death. He just choked and then you never saw him again. You barely saw his corpse. He had like a little
Could
froth.
you imagine dying
Sucks.
by choking on an eyeball that somebody spit into your mouth?
That's like not a cool way to go. His
It's
little
a
brother got
horrifying way to
both his
go.
arms ripped off. That was crazy too. They're like, the kids, we're ripping them limb from limb. Literally. Literally.
But yeah, relevant to the sexual assault, and since we're talking about the reading of the tombs and stuff, I very much appreciated that we didn't go that route in this movie, because I remember I went back, I reviewed our episode tapes, because I was like, I thought I remembered in the original that they regretted the tree rape scene, but then they repeated it in the second or in the reboot. But we talked on that episode about how the original treatment for the reboot didn't have that until someone in the production team was like, but that's big part of the original movie. You got to add it back in. And so they were
if
kind
we
of
don't
like,
have a tree rape, what will we do? We
how
could
could
do
we
a lot of
possibly
things.
understand
the
what's
same without
happening?
tree rape.
Yeah, so I appreciated that that wasn't a necessary part of the possession here, because it really does not take anything away to not have it. And so
Well,
I thought it was great that we kind of just didn't do
to
that
me,
here.
The elevator cables represented all of that kind of
100%.
stuff.
That had the same energy. The cables were like the vines. Also, watched an interview, and the lady who played Ellie pointed out she had tattoos down her whole arm of vines. I thought that was really cool.
Oh, that is cool.
Detail I didn't notice while watching, but I looked back and yep, really cool. And it was still super fucking grotesque and horrible. She's being choked. Her arm gets broken backwards. She's smacked all around. Like, it is really, 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 really horrific, and it doesn't have to go quite there. So, wow,
Yeah.
using restraint one time, Lee Cronin, slay.
Proud of you, babe.
I felt like he used restraint many times on this film, but again,
No, I agree,
as you
I
pointed
agree.
out, maybe it's because he just ratcheted things up afterwards. But
No,
I did
yeah.
read some an interview he did, and it was interesting to see him once again be like, "Well, I didn't want to do a reboot," and it's like, "Well, why do you keep doing franchise movies?" But he had good points about being in a very different sphere of the world in this one, because he was like, the cabin is the traditional setting. An top floor apartment building in downtown Los Angeles is like as opposite of that as you can get, basically. And so to really change up that element of it, I thought provided new interesting obstacles, new interesting things to play with. And he said he was writing a lot of it during kind of the early days of the pandemic when everyone was just like stuck at home. And
Mhm.
so it was a really interesting setting for him to play with where he's not even like in his office writing. He was literally in his home,
Stuck in his
looking
home.
around, thinking about you're not trapped in an unfamiliar sort of empty cabin somewhere else that maybe you've been to before. Maybe it was a family cabin like in the 2013 one, but regardless, it is like a destination that you go visit. This is like their home. Like these are their
Yeah.
safe spaces, and you have this
So much more
familiarity with
personal.
everything around you,
And all
all
of
of the
their
possible
neighbors
tools at your disposal.
and all the neighbors, like, well, yeah, that's true. That's true that they know where the scissors are. They know where all these other things are. So that's really helpful. But like adding to the agony is like not even just their family. They brought this home and home to their neighbors who they also really love. Even that
Mm-hmm.
curmudgeonly old guy, you know?
Mr. Fonda.
Um Mr.
Mhm.
Fonda. Yeah, so that like the crush down the way, you know, the I don't know if Bridget had a crush on that guy, but she did look out the window at him in a way
Her
where I
two
was like,
boyfriends,
maybe.
one of the
I love that
siblings says.
she is like, I'm gonna go protest, mom. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because also
Yeah.
too, like that was also happening during like the COVID stuff. You had all of the like Black Lives Matter protests too.
Yeah. No, totally. It felt very of that night. And I think it's also very effective, like bringing it home, you know, like for the audience to be like, okay, and it can happen at your fucking house.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not just like you enter the woods and anything goes.
It's
Like
not
we
just
all
the
know
woods that are
that.
spooky.
We all know that you enter the wood, anything goes. But this is you enter your own house and anything goes. If there's a cursed, sometimes. Oh my god, do you see
You
this?
can have a
She's gonna.
foolish neighbor. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Daphne is trying to eat a fake bird that I have on my wall right now. So that's
She was
something
just
new that's
nesting.
happening.
She was just trying to nest earlier.
She's working overtime over here. um, but yeah, I thought that was so scary. And there's so many, I don't know, like when they pull on your heartstrings with like the family stuff over and over again, like the panic that you feel, like just it's well written in a way where you like feel the love. Like you feel the love that is between the sisters because of the anger and the animosity that is there right now because like of course she let her sister come home even though she fucking ignored all of her cars when her marriage was dissolved. Calls, not cars. I'm so sorry. When her
I
marriage
sent
was
you two
dissolving.
cars to come bring you home.
Yeah, that would be extra fucked up if she had ignored the
I
cars.
sent them to Thailand where you were touring.
But then also the moment where like the kids are back from pizza and all that had gone on and she was freaking out to go try to find them. Ellie was freaking out trying to find them and like the whole community was going to come together. And then like the fact that we even get that moment where Ellie like dies and is dead for a moment and everyone that is there grieving her. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just think the way that this was written did a really good job of making you feel like emotions besides fear. But I felt fear a lot too. I screamed. Adam texted me and he's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. My meds are working great for my cold. Don't worry." He's like, "No, you were like screaming and yelling." And I was like, "Oh." That was the cheese grater part.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think there's a lot of fun stuff here. There's a lot of interesting elements of this movie within the larger genre. Apparently, all of the characters were named after actors who've been in the franchise.
Oh,
And
fun.
Bridget Fonda apparently plays Ash's girlfriend in something or other. And so there's a Bridget and there's a Mr. Fonda in this movie.
Oh, cool.
Um,
The
yeah, she
pizza is
played Ash's girlfriend in the
Henrietta's.
opening flashback in Army of Darkness.
Oh,
But
cool.
very
And the,
similar,
the
blah blah blah.
pizza box was Henrietta's pizza, and Henrietta is a character in Evil Dead 2. Old lady. Good
Um,
things happen with her.
I don't know who Bruce is necessarily, but IMDb says there's a character in this movie named Bruce. I think it's the guy in the beginning who's knocking on the bathroom door while the sister is in there being like, "Hey, do you know where the guitar is?" I think that is probably Bruce while she's taking her pregnancy test.
Huh.
Um,
I like
but
that.
yeah, Bruce Campbell, obviously.
I don't want to change topics. So, are there
That's fine.
more name similarities? Well, we just haven't talked about like I like how they came at motherhood in two different ways with this, and I think they handled it pretty well in a way that like didn't feel. Sometimes when there's things like this, I'm like, there's a pro-life agenda like in the film, but this one was like didn't feel that way. It's like we have a woman who's pregnant who like obviously hadn't planned for this to be the case. Seems to be further along than maybe we would imagine because she's having like feelings in her belly. I don't know about being pregnant, so I don't know when that starts happening. But when she like has all those like stomach pains throughout, I was like, does this mean like she's further along her pregnancy than maybe we thought? Again, I don't know. Never mind, I guess.
Yeah, I kind
um,
of thought, now that I'm reflecting on it, I kind of thought they were gonna do some sort of miscarriage thing with all of the cramping that seemed to
oh,
dramatically pop up, but then that didn't follow through. And then we heard
oh
a
well,
very
we
healthy
didn't need that.
sounding
Mm-hmm.
heartbeat at one point. So I'm not sure what the cramping was per se, other than I guess it happens sometimes.
I think that like they did a good job of keeping that part of the plot, but not focusing on it too much where it could go and get really uncomfortable to watch
I
as
think
being a woman.
maybe narratively it was just there to remind us throughout she's pregnant,
Yeah,
remember?
I think so too. I just was wondering if there was like a science thing behind it,
An
but
explanation. Yeah.
that's all right. That's quite fine with me. It's fine. Um, but like the part where Ellie is like on top of her with her like fingers like about to like go rip the fucking baby out of her. Jesus Christ. Well, thank God that didn't happen. I didn't want to see that. And I really thought that it could happen. I didn't remember. Um, I'm glad that we stepped back from that a little bit. And I also think like at the end where they're like there I don't remember the exact quote, but there's some like question asked to Beth where they're like, "Are you going to be a mother?" And she's
Yeah.
like, "Yes." Um,
Well, and that could be like, because I think it's what Cassie asks
Mhm.
Cassie.
that. And that could be like, do we know if she wanted to keep the baby? Like, we don't know what she's gonna do. And then that could be like her deciding, like, we're doing this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that that is the narrative role of that in the moment. Because there's that earlier scene when she's giving Cassie a bath, and they did some sort of interesting stuff where they just picked like character traits for each child, and then so it's like Cassie, she wears a bathing suit in the bath because she's scared of being underwater jellyfish. So you see, she's kind of timid. And then Danny, he's a DJ, so he's kind of cool. And then Bridget, she's political. And it's like you just get like one thing there. It's like, here's who this is. But so you have the scene with Cassie earlier in the bathroom. They're talking about something or other, and she's like, "You'd be a good mom one day because you know how to lie to kids." And so it's like they're kind of entering that into like the Cassie Beth relationship a little bit of like someone who's looking at this adult and perceiving her in this way, whereas like a teenager maybe wouldn't without being explicitly told that like pregnancy is part of the equation. And then Cassie is I think in the room because she's the one that slides the scissors over to Beth from under the couch. When there's the I'm gonna claim your soul, two souls question mark, when that happens. So I think that's when she starts to catch on. But yeah, Beth comes here to be like, I don't know what to do. I need my older sister to fix this situation for me and tell me what to do and make everything right, whatever that might mean. I don't think she has any concept yet of what that's going to mean other than her older sister will know what to do and where to go from here and how to help her like resolve within herself whatever the confusion is. And then through seeing the love that her sister has for her children and have the lengths she will go to try and fight off this possession for one more second to be like, save my babies, and then her having to step into this caretaker protector role because their mother is not there right now. I think it affirms for her, I'm capable in a way that I never thought of myself as. I always thought my older sister is the capable one and I'm the fuck up. But even though this obviously went disastrously,
Yeah.
I committed myself to this journey, and I see that that is like the main thing that it takes is just like deciding to do it.
Yeah. And I also think that, like, regardless of what happens with the child that she is carrying, because, like, she's been through bing bang boomed quite around quite a bit, and I hope everything goes well. Um, there's also a connotation that, like, this whole family has been annihilated, and I don't want to think about Jay because he's a fuck ass. But like, she's gonna be a mother figure to Cassie moving
Mm-hmm.
forward as well. So regardless of that, she is a mother now. Um, already in this moment, she's a mother because she is caring for Cassie moving forward. So I thought that is powerful too. And again, like, I think another reason why I like this one so much, and it sounds like I'm crying, but it's just because I ate spicy salsa and it triggered my cough, and I'm just gonna ride that because this is the emotional part. I think the other thing that I love about this so much is like it like there is similarities between deadites and zombies. We've talked about this before ad nauseum on other episodes where we've covered this franchise, um, and we've talked about this before on every other zombie episode. But like the thing that makes me tolerate zombies literally ever is like the way it can be used to pull on your emotions by like watching someone that you love be transformed into something you can't recognize. And like I always say, that Train to Busan does that the best, and it's just so incredible and so emotional. But I think that this one, it's a little bit less like focus on the emotional, definitely less so than Train to Busan. But like even at the end when like the people that she loves have turned into this literal crazy three-headed monster. Like, oh my god, is there something Greek mythology that we should be picking up on here? I don't know. Um, but like that she has to like obliterate into smithereens these people that she loves, even though she doesn't recognize them anymore. Like, I think because they did such a good job uh setting up everyone's connection earlier, I really felt that, and it was fucking harrowing. I don't know, I was affected by it this time. I hated it when I saw it in the theaters. I really did hate it. I really remember not liking it. But maybe I was just scared and I didn't see it with Chelsea. So what can I do? It was hard. Who holds my hand? When I go see horror movies with Adam, he doesn't hold my hand as much as Chelsea does because he's so scared he has both his fingers in his ears. So I'm like, stop that. Hold my fucking
Hold
hand.
Yeah.
my hand.
He is a good man. I just want to say, but Chelsea's a better movie boyfriend.
I put the boyfriend seatbelt on you where I just like reach across your body and I keep you safe.
Sometimes I put my
Monica,
whole
why don't you
leg
just
on
give
Chelsea.
Adam one like headphones
Yeah,
Head-
you
and
give
you put
him
one
one
and
of
then
your
you sit on that
fingers.
one. It works.
Let me just plug this for you,
So
babe.
fucking funny. But yeah, I don't know, that ending part was so harrowing. It's distracting because you're getting the chainsaw reference and the like get some reference or whatever. Is that what she says? That's like a catchphrase of Ash's. He says that at one point. So there's a lot of hilarity and stuff going on, but like I don't know. It's crazy that she has to just obliterate them. But then there is totally parts of it that piss me off where like the ending note where like the deadite is being like says something bitchy that's like based on knowledge that it gleaned from like being inside of Ellie's body. Um and then Ellie's like, fuck you, bitch, essentially. Like don't call me a groupie or something like that. Like
Oh, yeah.
I wish it didn't have to end on that scene because like I feel like I don't know. I just want everything to be sad, I guess, and not cunty. I just wanted it to be sad instead of cunty. But like
I don't know, her like kicking the head into the wood chipper was really cunty, but
It was
also
cunty.
why was that thing called a marauder?
What?
Didn't notice.
That like the weird centipede deadite creature thing that chases after them at the very end.
Oh, is that it's
That
called
thing,
that somewhere?
it's called a
Called the
marauder. And
Marauder?
all I could think about was
It's the
Harry Potter
engineer.
fan fiction.
Oh,
Sure. Yeah.
that's like it's like why is the engineer in Hellraiser called the engineer? No one
Right?
knows.
Nobody knows.
Maybe someone who read the book knows, but I don't know, and so I can't say.
Yeah, I know. That's interesting. I liked a lot of the ending though.
Yeah.
Lee Cronin talked about with this setting being what it is, so urban, how do you work a chainsaw into something like this? And I think being like, this neighbor has a tree trimming business or a tree cutting business or whatever. Like, that was a fun way to work in exciting tools of destruction that can be used. And the chainsaw is the shade of yellow that it is, as opposed to the traditional red Evil Dead chainsaw, because it's the same shade of yellow as Ash's car from the
Yeah, it's a cute
original.
detail.
And the family car is not the same at all, but there was one shot of it like through the back window as it was getting splattered or something like that that really made me think of that car. Something about the vibes of it just felt like perfectly calibrated for a little reference there.
And the wood chipper, the wood chipper creates a blood rain as an homage
Yeah.
to 2013. So thank God.
Mhm.
Nothing will be cuntier than the OG blood rain, but that was good.
Yeah, that was good. They used for the speaking of the fake blood, they
Mhm.
used real blood to fill up the elevator. Like not real blood, but like real fake blood.
I was like, what?
What do you mean real fake blood?
Like it wasn't CGI.
Oh.
Like they
Like it was
actually filled
like it was like
They used
real,
real
real
blood.
fake blood.
Everybody on the crew donated. Took them many months to bank that much, but
Yeah. And then once it was over, they just donated it right back. Of course. That's how that works.
I mean, I love that it is a Shining reference.
Yeah.
With the elevator just like spilling out awash with blood, sweeping them all away. Just because it's fun and it's cool and it's classic. And apparently there were other Shining references. Like there's one cut when Beth is holding the entrance door as Ellie is on the outside of it, that IMDb trivia said is very similar to how Jack Nicholson does it when Shelley Duvall locks him in the pantry in The Shining. It says the same shot from bottom to top is used. I'll have to do a visual comparison later because I didn't catch it. But the demonic moment, they've got this shot in that movie in the beginning also where it's like the overhead flight, so that is another kind of reference, even though also we know that that's an Evil Dead thing. It's just so classic a moment. I loved it, but am I guess it's just for fun and fake blood. When I knew that this movie, I remember the marketing for this movie before I saw it. I didn't know it was an LA movie even until I started watching it today.
Yeah, I didn't remember that.
Because all of the marketing, I think, focused on or at least the teaser, maybe a full trailer revealed more. The teaser, I think, really focused on the lake prologue, and that imagery. And we see the Evil Dead Rise title card coming over that in the beginning. So I always assumed that they were by a lake, like they often are in Evil Dead movies. And so I
Not
just
this
assumed that that is where the blood was related to all of that, blah, blah, blah. It's like a lake's worth of blood. But to just fill up an elevator with it for fun and to be camp is a interesting choice to
It's
me.
powerful.
I will
like
say I got
it.
a little confused on the rules of how things spread, because other than the initial spooky, attack on the mom with the spooky force blowing through until it catches her in the elevator. It seemed honestly like very bloodborne. It's like
I
she gets
know.
herself with the
And then it
tattoo gun,
wasn't
and then she
anymore.
tattoos Bridget's face, and Bridget
Mhm.
gets stabbed with the knife and then stabs Danny with the same knife. I guess there wasn't that same direct transfer with either Beth or Cassie, but obviously they were fully submerged, and so I just was curious about the rules there. But again, I think it's one of those things where it's like, well, the rules are whatever you want them to be in the moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really don't know because it like I was thinking it was Bloodborne too because she literally gets blood ink for her tattoo gun and blood tattoos her face. Very metal, by the way, very metal. Um, but yeah, there's like blood splatter like into everyone's mouth time and time again, and then Danny gets the blood poured like all over his face.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then he's like stabbed literally in the fucking heart and dies. And then because he's dead, then he becomes a deadite. So like that one's a little up in the air. But then the rest of them are just literally covered in blood. And then like I don't know if we're using 2013 rules, that girl's in the blood rain because it must have gotten in her mouth, you know. And
Mia,
then
yeah.
Mhm.
yeah. So I don't really know.
When the blood comes from a mysterious, unseen source, it's actually safe to be in. But if it comes directly from a deadite and penetrates your wound, then that is a transference. I don't know. That's my best guess.
Yeah.
Because she bites the neighbor's eyeball and like blah 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 blah. But I don't know. It felt the end of the movie where they're just like they're okay until spooky wind comes back and attacks Jessica as she's walking to her car or whatever. I was just like,
Well,
it's just kind of wiggly woggly.
actually, also, I think they do establish that though, rules wise, because there's the part where Beth goes back and listens to the second or third or whatever fucking side of the record, and it's the priest, and he's like, "Yeah, I fucked it huge. Um, all of my brethren have been infected, and I don't know like how or why. There's like no rhyme or he like almost says there's like no rhyme or reason to it, if I'm
He says
recalling correctly."
the only thing to do is run.
Exactly. So I think that like just exposure to it at all, being in its presence. I mean, like it's a demonic. Well, I can't speak today. It's a demonic, demonic possession. So you know, you hear it, it summons things. Like it's like any of the senses, it can really get in you, and it can just like choose you next. Like it just chose Bridget next. I don't know. Poor Bridge. Poor Bridge. Remember when she threw up maggots and then ate glass to kill him, and the glass stuck out of her throat as it went down?
Oh
Oh,
yeah, that was another good
Yeah.
one.
yeah.
And it made me
Well,
think of Bring Her Back also with the glass eating.
oh yes, it did. I agree. Um, well, are we ready to go into our?
Segmentos.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anything comes up, we can still say it.
Yeah.
How could this movie be gayer right off the bat? I think Ellie is bisexual, and so if she had lived, she could have had a beautiful wife. And maybe if she had had a wife, this problem would have been solved from the beginning because fuck Jay, and he can get fucked. And sorry, it just has to be said.
Bridget is a lesbian.
Oh, I was
Bridget,
like, yeah, Bridget is also going to one day be contending with gender identity as well down the road, I think.
100%.
And I think maybe at this time, if Danny is trans, if we're doing that reading of the film, Bridget is like, well, Danny's the trans one, so I guess I'm just cisgender. But I think in time, Bridget will realize more than one person in a family can be trans.
Yeah.
That's
By
allowed.
the way, yeah, we just did a Wachowski sisters movie. There's
Mm-hmm.
two
Mm-hmm.
two trans sisters. It can happen. Okay, open your mind. Um, Cassie could be straight though, and it's important, but we don't know yet. It's early
Yeah.
days. It's early days. Okay, so there can be also a straight person in the gay family.
But no,
Just
yeah, I
saying.
agree that the mom is bisexual. Just her general vibes are giving me bisexual for sure.
It's the red hair.
100%.
The creative expression choices that she's making tell me that she wants me to know that she is not part of the heteronormative patriarchal structure.
I agree. You were so still that I thought you froze. I was like,
Everybody
oh no.
freeze! Just a little gag for the
That
YouTube
made me
crowd.
cough.
What was that like bit back in the day where everybody would be like frozen and a Ray Shrimmered song would play?
Oh, and then
Yeah.
you'd like
Yeah, and then everybody moved.
Is something shuffle?
I think it was Black Beatles.
Something
That
shake?
was
Harlem Shake?
It wasn't the Harlem Shake. In the Harlem Shake they did the Harlem Shake.
Maybe we're thinking of two different things.
No.
I know what you're talking. I know what you're talking about, Sydney, but
Okay.
I'm not on
I don't
trend
remember
enough
what
to
song
know.
it was.
Okay, more gay things though. Any other gay thoughts?
So many more gay thoughts, or does Chelsea have more thoughts?
No.
So many more gay thoughts.
Okay, Matthew Lillard.
That's Jay. Sorry to Matthew Lillard. That's Jay.
Matthew Lillard is Beth's baby daddy.
Oh, he came. They've got a big crowd over in Asia wherever she was touring, and he came to see the show.
Wow. Yeah, that's it. But also, Matthew, step up, step in.
I think once she tells him, he will.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. It's early days. It's early days. Unfortunately, it's early days. I think that he's going to be really sweet, though, and really support her through the trauma that she's just experienced.
And he's going to help her raise Cassie also.
That's beautiful.
So nice. And we never let Jay back into the picture ever again. Bye, Jay. Fuck you, you little bitch ass. I hope he feels awful. I hope he feels really bad.
Yeah, that is a little bit of a wrinkle for, not that it's the happiest ending of this movie, that they just like wander off. Because I was like, how is that gonna work? How are they allowed to be still human? How is this gonna work? Crazy to me that Jessica is just like, and I didn't notice anything last night because cell service was out, and so whatever racket was happening 3 floors above me was too far away. Because she lives on floor 5 and they're on floor 8, and I guess that's a big enough difference. But yeah, I was like, this whole custody situation, that's not gonna be a clear cut. They just walk away from this and enroll her in school in New York. They moved to New York. I don't know.
It's a bit of a messy situation, but if anyone can figure it out, it's Matthew Lillard. He's got legal power behind him. So I think we're gonna be okay. I think it's gonna be fine. Okay, that brings us to Dumb Bitch. And I thank God that Jay's a part of this movie actually, because then I can give the Dumb Bitch award to Jay and not Danny. Because otherwise Danny, we would be having some trouble here. And I love you. I love you like a brother. But alas, you fucked up. But he did try to turn it off literally immediately. Like he played the tape rough. And then it says, and now here's some words to summon a demon. And it goes, wah, and he's like, fuck that immediately. But unfortunately, they don't need electricity when it comes to the devil, and the buttons don't work anymore. And so it's too late, and it's too far gone.
But the fact that he was like winding it with his finger for so much of it, I was like, oh, come on, man.
I know.
We're really putting it through. I didn't understand the part. This is back to the movie for a second. I didn't understand the part where Danny was like, "We can't play it. The electricity is out," and she's like, "I know how to fix that." And then she like hot wires things together. I was like, "What? But what'd you hook it up to?"
She's a guitar tech, Chelsea.
So she can make a battery with a lemon and a potato and 2 wires.
Yeah. Don't question
You
it.
didn't see her doing 5th grade science experiments over there, but she was.
Question it. Don't question it, okay? It's just
The mom
how
coming
it
through the
is.
vents, that was fun.
Yeah, that was so
When
good. What happened
uh
to the cat? Did the cat die? Did we see the cat die
It's
and I closed
confirmed.
my
We didn't
eyes?
see the cat die. I read on IMDb trivia or in an interview or something that it is confirmed the cat is still alive. The cat's okay.
thank God.
God, I couldn't take anything else.
When you see when like Beth is like listening to like some of the tapes explaining how like she goes and you see the mom like crawling on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Yeah,
it.
and the fact that Beth has the noise canceling headphones while Danny's being stabbed to death, like just like wasn't the best choice to use the noise canceling. Those worked too. It was actually an advertisement for that brand of noise canceling headphones.
I saw like the thought behind it in the sense that if you're playing tapes that can summon a demon, maybe it's best if only one person can hear them. Um, but unfortunately, it worked against her as well.
Damn,
So,
not good.
and I don't really know the logic behind demon summoning. I don't really know if only you can hear
Yeah.
it. Are you the only one affected? Because the mom sure wasn't hearing the words read aloud when she was in the elevator, and it got her anyway.
It just like opened it up from the ground, and then the demon flew like a ghosty, and the first person it met was her, unfortunately. It's also not
Came in
fair
through the
because she was
basement.
trying to get rid of her old burdens and her old trauma. She's trying to throw that shit out by throwing away that horrible man's to bring it back to the dumb bitch of the movie Jay. It's his fault, actually, because he left all his shit at her house. Oh my god, we figured it out.
No,
And
I do
she's
think
throwing away his shit. It's his fault.
there's a lot of legitimate cause to point the finger of blame at Jay because two parents are twice the resources, both financially and also manpower, in terms of looking for somewhere new to live.
And fighting a demon.
Fighting a demon, yes, but also if Danny didn't feel like he had to step up and be the man of the household and help provide in some way, would he have been looting that bank vault? So, potentially no. We'll never
Time will tell.
know how things might have played out if Jay had been a present father in the household.
Yeah, bitch. Dumb bitch, actually, to be specific. I just don't want to give it to Danny. We can't give it to Danny.
Danny deserves a nomination for sure.
He deserves
But
he really.
But like I said earlier,
really.
comparatively way less of a dumb bitch than some of the other dumb bitches of the franchise who did summon demons.
No one could beat Eric.
Number one dumb
Just
bitch of all time, Eric.
remember
Yeah.
when we scream? There's a clip online of just us screaming about how stupid. Like it's just maddening, but it is great to watch. It's great to watch someone really fuck it hugely and be like, that could never be me. With Danny, I was like, it could. I fear it be me.
It could and it almost was.
And it almost was, and maybe it is again right now because a reminder about the lantern. So we'll be keeping you abreast.
Just
of the
don't light it.
situation.
Maybe don't
Yeah,
light the
no.
lantern.
I don't want to put oil in that. That's like a bomb. It's like
Or
putting
even like a
bomb into the
candle. Just like
yeah. It's not
it's
that
for
kind
decor.
of a thing. Yeah, no, it's for decor. It's for spooky decor. For my spooky, like basically Widow's Bay themed bathroom at this point. Just another shout out to watch Widow's Bay if you haven't. Shit rock.
I need to start.
The finale was last week. What?
Yes.
And I'm speaking in the future. The finale's actually the finale's tonight when I'm watching this, but I'm 3 episodes behind. But so don't fucking tell me what happens. Anyway, 9 out of 5s. We did it.
9 out of 5s. This movie has a 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb. And I was thinking of Monica when I looked at it because last episode you were like, IMDb always hates things. So I will point out that the numbers are higher on Rotten Tomatoes. From critics, this movie has 85% fresh, and from audiences on Rotten Tomatoes, it has 76% fresh.
Oh,
so I would say this movie was generally well received. I didn't put any of the awards in my notes because they were all sort of the niche ones, or in the horror space specifically. But you can go check that out if you're so inclined. But like I said when we announced this movie, I've only heard positive things about it from
Yeah.
people. I
from
guess I hadn't
myself.
heard enough to know that it was not a cabin movie and that it is an LA movie. So how much have I heard really? But every time I've mentioned it to somebody, they were like, "Oh, that movie ruled," or whatever.
Yeah. I feel that way now. Yesterday, no. Today, I think it ruled. I think it was great. It's not really like my exact steez, for sure. But now I'm
Yeah.
excited for Evil Dead Burn because I was dreading it. Oh my god, I was dreading it. All of our listeners love you guys so much. All the patrons are like, "Oh my god, I'm so excited!" And I was like, "No, we're gonna have to cover it, and I'm gonna hate it." No, okay, I might like it. Maybe I'll like it. But the trailer did look really fucked up. So maybe I'm gonna hate it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's the family dynamics that save the a movie that has a tone that's not necessarily for me, like this sort of like blah, blah, kind of gore. But again, also restraint was used by Lee Cronin, where which what did it not happen in The Mummy? Lee Cronin's The Mummy, famously Lee Cronin's The Mummy. This is now my review. And I think that it was gross and I almost threw up. I did almost throw up with the eyeball thing. That was really gross. And it's rude because I have a cough right now and I have a lot of phlegm. So I choked on my phlegm as I was gagging and I actually authentically almost threw up. So fuck you, Lee Cronin, for that. But positive also because that was kind of sick that I had such a violent physical reaction. But yeah, I think like it was really well written. And it would be really hard for anyone to follow up Fede Alvarez's Triumph, 2013 Triumph, you know? But it'd been long enough, you know, to put a little distance between it. And I think this was a very valiant effort and it was done really well. So I don't want to give it like too crazy great of a score, but I'll give it like a 4.3. I thought it was really good. I had a really good time. And for like this genre of horror, which is my steez, like I had a great time. I don't know. Maybe I'm just in a good mood today. It's the steroids. It's the steroids. I'm on steroids right now, so it's the steroids. Hey, watch this on steroids. See what happens. No, don't. Oh my god, don't do that. I was
But
prescribed
honestly,
them.
I'm kind of right there in the same vein with you. This is definitely like a 4 out of 5 for me. And I will say the title sequence for this fucked. Like
Yes.
her coming out of the lake and just like Jessica floating, and then it just says like
Yeah.
Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah.
And you were just like, fuck, that's
Yeah.
good.
That was so cool. Yeah.
Like I had a good time. Like I was a little nervous. Lee Cronin movie. Like
Mm-hmm.
I had a good time with The Mummy. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst. I like this way more than The Mummy because
Mm-hmm.
this is in fact an Evil Dead movie and they are supposed to be Deadites, whereas The Mummy is not a Deadite. I don't think. It could be. Who knows?
That's the twist for this.
That's the twist. It's all like in the same canon universe.
Dude. That's the thing. Okay, imagine Lee Cronin where he makes a movie that's only 7 minutes over a tight 90. He just was they let him off the leash for The Mummy and he added an extra 45 fucking minutes and like 40 years of lore. It was very confusing. Tone it back a little bit. Come back to your roots, Lee. Look at this. Rewatch your own movie. I believe in you. I don't think he's a bad director. I think he's good. He just gets a little crazy sometimes.
Yeah. I liked this movie probably less than both of you did, and I'm less
That's
of an Evil
fair.
Dead person in general. But I will say for Lee Cronin's directing, there were some really cool shots in this movie. There was some really cool like camera perspectives going on in this movie. So I want to shout that out. I thought they did a lot of really interesting work marrying aspects of the lore throughout the franchise. Like one thing that I didn't even remember to mention until now is that Bridget has gold deadite eyes, which is like the deadite eyes that they have in the 2013 Fede Alvarez one. and then Danny has white Deadite eyes, like the original movies, and then the mom, Ellie, has silver Deadite eyes, which are kind of like her own thing. And so doing all of the different colors, it both gives them each their own distinct look in this movie, which is like a fun, creative choice. And it also kind of harkens to all of the various different versions of Deadites that we've seen over time. In a way where it doesn't go like one thing is right and one thing is wrong, and here's what our version is. It's kind of like they can all coexist. So I thought he made interesting choices in that regard. He talked in an interview about how he felt like the end of this movie really opens up the franchise for a lot of different places where it can go. And so I'm curious to see what the vibe is in Evil Dead Burn and how connected it is, because Jessica and her cousin talk in that movie about how the friends haven't arrived yet, and it seems like that is like a car full of teens driving home
Well,
from
they
something.
didn't show up.
Yeah, so it's like, do they get there late and everybody's a Deadite then already, and then they get infected and they're trying to escape? And so I'm curious to see if they're related at all. It is a new writer director, so it's not necessary. It could just be its own whole new fresh story. I don't know. But it makes me a little more curious about the world in general in Evil Dead. It makes me want to watch the second one just to see if that's more my vibe. But I really liked Danny, and I thought Morgan Davies was super cute and like very likable. But I was not necessarily attached to any of the characters per se. I thought it was like well constructed, but I just wasn't blown away. But I actually think that's probably a compliment because I'm not that into the Deadite stuff. So the fact that I was sat for as long as I was probably speaks to the film. But I looked back at my score for The Mummy, and I looked back at my score for the 2013 Evil Dead. And I'm probably gonna give this movie like a 3.8. Because there's a lot of cool things going for it, and a lot of fun and a lot of good gore, but I just don't, it's not really for me.
That's totally fine. I thought I'd be more like that too, but here we are. Also,
Maybe a second watch sometime in the future. Who knows?
I just read the IMDb log line for Evil Dead Burn, and it looks crazy. It's about in-laws.
Interesting.
Should I read it? Should I read
Yeah.
it or no?
Yeah.
After the loss of her husband, a woman seeks solace with her in-laws. As one by one they transform into deadites, she comes to discover that the vows she took in life survive even in death. Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting. I don't know. I don't know Sebastian Vanisek. I don't know if that's how you say it. It says, though, interestingly, for the writers, Florent Bernard, Sam Raimi, Sebastian Vanisek, um, as the writers. And I was like, oh, is Sam Raimi just in there because like he wrote the first one and it's that sort of a thing? But if you look at this one, at Evil Dead Rise, it says just the writers Lee Cronin. Like Sam Raimi's not listed there at all. So maybe he did actually have some say in this one. So only time will tell. And we're not covering that movie right now. So anyway, looking to the future though, Spooky Tuesday always we got our eyes 5 yards ahead, you know, planning, plotting. But anyway, I know you're getting scared. I know you're getting sad. You're like, oh my god, what? Is Trans Pride over? No. No, girl. Girl, there's 5 Tuesdays in June this year. Wow, it's a real powerful pride. So Chelsea, what's happening now?
Well, you heard the number 5 come out there in that sentence. So as you might have guessed, we do have a 5th Tuesday this month, which means it's a bonus movie. It doesn't have to be spooky, doesn't have to be horror. You might be like, "Can you guys just do The Matrix?" Shut up. We're doing that movie is still scary, thrillery. Now we're doing something that is not that. There are some real world elements of it that, you know, can be scary in a serious way to some degree. But for them, I don't know why I'm introducing it this way.
I've never seen it, so I'm
you
getting
know what? I
scared.
take it back. Yeah. Let me start fresh. We have a Fifth Tuesday coming up. And I'm so excited about it. When we were thinking about our Pride lineup in general, before we landed on Trans Pride, we were just kind of looking at some older queer movies. And a couple years ago, I went on kind of a rampage where I watched a bunch of older queer movies, and one that I just think is like a very sweet story. It feels relevant to our times. It doesn't actually feature any trans actors, so I want to apologize for that. But it has some really lovely trans characters in it. It is the movie To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. Kind of a mouthful of a title. And you'll
Crazy.
see
I'll never be
why
able to
the
say
title
it.
once you watch it, but also it's kind of just like random a little bit. Um, but it's a really fun 90s movie about drag queens on a road trip across the country. They're not all drag queens. For some of them, the persona that they put on when they are a drag queen is closer to heart than it is for other drag queens who are just like, that's my character. But I'll let you see for yourself. I just think it's got some very sweet elements in that story, and it's a lot of fun. And also it's got a crazy cast. So that's Wesley Snipes, Patrick Swayze, and John Leguizamo are our main three
Oh my
drag queens.
god.
So
I'm so excited.
It's gonna be
I've-
fab.
I've
Literally.
seen
it is a fab movie.
I've seen so many images from this movie that I've never seen it. My one comment that I have to say is the name of this movie sounds like it came right out of the Spooky Tuesday marketing machine. Just like completely non-marketable film title. So funny. Let's make it a
Mm-hmm.
sentence. I love it though. Can't wait to see what that fucking means. So that's gonna be really fun. It'll be a really fun grand finale to Trans Pride at Spooky Tuesday. But as a reminder, we are fundraising this month. If you would like to participate in our fundraiser for Transgender Law Center, please head over to our Instagram, instagram.com/spooky_Tuesday. And you can find the link to our to support right there. We would love to have your support. But also, you're supporting us right now if you're listening to this anywhere that you listen to podcasts. Our ad revenue this month, we are donating all of it to trans organizations, trans nonprofit organizations, and also any money that we get from our Patreon. That also will be donated. So if you want to support, listen as much as you can. And also, you can join our Patreon as a patron. It's so fun. Or you can also buy a few of our videos or one of our videos. Every dollar really counts so much. We just did a trailer reaction for Whale Fall last week, which was really silly and fun. We've done we do 2 trailer reactions a month, so there's a lot of stuff in there. And a couple of weeks ago, we did a like hour and a half long reaction to the Met Gala look. So you really want to get some bang for your buck, go real far back in there. We did a show and tell. That was really, really fun. If you can find that on our Patreon. So there's some fun content for you. If you buy any of that during the month of June, we will be donating those proceeds. So thank you guys for listening. If you want to follow us on social media, we're at spooky_Tuesday on everything except for Facebook, Tumblr. And that is where you'll find us at Spooky Tuesday Pod instead. SpookyTuesdayPod.com. That's our website. Learn everything you want to learn about us. Many, many beautiful pictures and a link to the fundraiser. And we are also on YouTube. And today, all 3 of us are dressed up. So, Sydney, you go first.
It's me, Jessica.
The bitch from the beginning.
And the end. It all
Mhm.
comes around.
Yes, we need to get you a big floppy hat. I loved that little ending bit. So good, so good. And then Chelsea and I are Ellie before and after this Deadite spirit took her over. Yeah.
And I just
Yeah, you
blood
gotta
drops
do
out of
the
my mouth.
smile.
Yeah.
I have to look like a
Mommy
mom
loves
who's
you.
like, I'm a mom and I'm a little exasperated. Anyway, check out our YouTube to see a lot of that and my cat freaking out the entire episode in the background. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Bye, spookies.
Spooky Tuesday was created by Monica Height, Sydney Thompson, and Chelsea Duff, and edited by Sydney Thompson. Our gorgeously spooky tunes are all thanks to Tamara Simons, who you can follow on Instagram at Great18. That's GR818_. And our podcast art is by Ryan Brom, who you can follow on Instagram at Ryan Brom Art. That's RyanBrommArt. Learn more about Spooky Tuesday at spookytuesdaypod.com and subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/spooky_Tuesday.